All right, what's up, guys and girls? How's it going? I wanted to make a, a part two or a second part of the last video I made of my real talk video. Um, I got a lot of awesome feedback from you guys. It looks like I was able to explain my point well, and it's nice to be able to actually have a discussion on these sorts of things without me trying to have to re-explain things. So that it's really cool that it was received as well as it was. But the reason I'm making part two is not because I want to piggyback off it to get more views or anything like that. But I'm gonna let you guys in on a little part of my past real life. But I was in the military, and I went through basic training. And for those of you guys that have been through that, they kind of really test you, and they put you through a bunch of no-win situations. And basically their entire thing that they're trying to show you is shit's going to happen to you, and you can either sit there in the corner in the fetal position and you can whine about it, or you can come up with a solution and you can continue on. And that's kind of been driven in me for a while. I've always been a pretty stubborn person, and when I can't figure something out, I keep going. If I think I can do something and I haven't done it yet, I just keep at it. But when I proposed that video, I basically just kind of, in a nutshell, said, if you guys are mad at the game, it's because you have to, work at your class or your build, and that's awesome. That. I think that's a good way to look at it. But I didn't provide any direction to those of you guys that want to do that and you're not sure where to start. And that's what this video is for, is to try and, if you're at that point and you feel like, what can I do, or what do other people do, that's what this video is for. It doesn't matter if you're a good player trying to get really good, or if you're a new player to PvP or a new player to PvE. It doesn't matter. Successful people in any aspect of life all do the same things. They all practice the same things, and whether you apply it to a game, or you apply it to your job, or you apply it to your relationships, it's all going to work. So anyway, my point is the first video is assessing what the issue is. You have to correctly assess, what, if we're applying this to the game, you have to go, okay, well, what's wrong with my class? Is it me? Am I just not as good as I thought I was? And if that's the answer, you have to come to that answer. And to use an analogy, before we get to the analogy, but my point is if you improperly assess the problem that's going on, you will not get to the right answer. So as it pertains to ESO, when people are struggling on their class, they can choose one of two options typically. They can say, well, I suck and I'm just not very good at this. Or they can say, this is ZeniMax's fault. ZeniMax screwed me. I'm a good player, but they nerfed my class and it's made me terrible. And let's be honest, guys, we all have a little bit of pride. More often than not, we're going to be prone to choose that second one. We're going to be more likely to say it's not our fault, it's somebody else's fault. If we lose to somebody else, we're going to say, well, they're running some OP shit and I'm not. I want to be a purist, yada, yada, yada. We're not being realistic with what's going on. And so the analogy I would use is, if your car's out of gas and the vehicle isn't running because you're out of gas, you don't change the battery to fix it. You fill it up with gas. And so if the problem with your character is that you're just not very good at getting the combos down, or you're not really good at managing your resources, or you're not good at sustaining against a couple people, or you don't know how to line a sight very well, those are the things you need to address and work at, not find some new OP build combo to carry you again. And so that's what I want to try and get people at, is have a realistic assessment of what your skill level is with a class. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I'm very average at this, or I'm very below average at this, or I don't know what I'm doing with this class, because we've all been there. I'm still there on a few classes. If I try a new build, on my Stam Warden, I don't know the Stam Warden well enough to like know the ins and outs and know which skills I want and stuff. I have like 10 hours of PvP on it. Like I don't play it a whole lot. So I I know that I'm not very good at it. I know that a lot of what's going on is skill related, and I just go in there and I play and I try to find something that I know works in other classes because I know that build kind of works and I can kind of make it work, and then I'll figure things out along the way. Um, but there are a few tips I can give you guys. Number one is just collect information. You want to get as much information as possible from all of the resources that you think are good. You know, whether it's reading online, like whether you go to some forums that you like where there's a few posters that you like posting, or whether you go on YouTube and you find a couple people that are posting 1vx clips or dueling clips of a class, and you can just tell that they play better than you know, or they play a style that you wish you could play. You know, follow those guys, like study what they do against certain classes, and you know, kind of see what they're doing that you're not. And when you have that realistic assessment of what's going on with your build, you can then say, oh wow, this is what they're doing that I'm not doing. That makes a lot of sense. You know, and sometimes maybe do mirrors, like watch one of their videos and then watch one of yours. You know, watch a video, like record yourself of yourself getting shit on, because then it'll help you to see what happened. You know, you'll be able to figure out, like, okay, well, what did he hit me with? If you're having problems fighting a certain class, you know, maybe go on YouTube and find somebody running that class really well and see what they're doing, see how they're applying pressure, and then come up with your own ways. You know, maybe find somebody, one of your buddies that plays that class kind of well, and say, hey, you know, I really want to duel you. I really want to try and figure this out. I just don't know much about this class. I want to get better against it. You know, all this stuff is a way to collect information. You know, testing new builds, testing new gear, like figuring out the basics and reading something online, and then actually applying it in the game. All these things is how you're going to improve as a player. Now, I don't personally care what top X% anybody is. Like that doesn't matter. It's, are you having fun? You know, you play the game to have fun. Are you having fun competing? You know, and I can have a fun fight where, you know, I fight 3 people, I only kill 1 person and I lose. Because if I feel like I competed against 3 people, then I feel like I have a chance to kill all 3. Even if I didn't, I'm going to try and go back, you know. The better you get as a player, the more people you will be able to 1vx. You know, because as I talked about before, skill level is all relative. So if you improve your gameplay and your skill level much higher than your opponents, you will be able to 1vx them. So people that you currently think might be solid, maybe in 2 months, if you get to work at it, you might be able to 1vx them and a buddy. You know, it happens. You know, some people improve and some people don't, and it's just all about taking all that information and applying it to your build, applying it to your class, knowing the counters, knowing, you know, how to survive against certain things. I have videos on my YouTube channel from over a year ago where I kind of discussed that for like the Magic and Nightblade, and people have been asking me to kind of discuss other classes more in depth, and I think I'm going to do it for a few. You know, just kind of how to survive, how to heal, how to deal out combos for a few classes. I'm not going to do it for all of them, just because I can't in good conscience like post something about, you know, like a Stam Warden and be like, oh yeah, this is what you do, when I barely know what I'm doing to begin with. So yeah, like I know I'm just kind of spitfiring here right now, but that was kind of what the last video was, and I'm just trying to, you know, I'm just trying to lead you guys, you know, in the right direction. You know, I've seen a lot of people in the community that are like, oh, I don't watch YouTubers, I don't get information from them, I do my own thing. And that's fine, that's great. Run your own build. But why wouldn't you want to see what the meta is going to be running? Why wouldn't you want to see that? You know, just because you don't run it because you have a better build, why wouldn't you want to see that people are running 7th Legion and whatever, and you've ran it before, you kind of know its strengths, you kind of know its weaknesses, you know how to get around it. Like, why wouldn't you want to know that information? Just because everybody else is running it means you're going to run across a lot of people running that build. You know, that's valuable information that you can then use later. You know, if you run across a Templar and they're a healer, it's like, okay, well, what are they running? You know, do they have low magicka recovery? Do they have low stamina recovery? Are they in light armor? Are they in heavy armor? Like, what is their weakness? You know, how can I exploit this with my build? If people are out there posting these builds on YouTube, you get to see exactly what their stat sheets are. Why wouldn't you want that? You know, like, I mean, I get the point of view of I'm better than this, but at the same time, like, you can be a lot better than this if you just watch it and then you go, okay, well, that's what they're running. This is how I'm going to exploit it. You know, that's the stuff that just never makes any sense to me, because it's just free information being given to you by the community, and you decide to do nothing with it. And I don't know, it's a free resource, so do it, you know. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen a build video where I saw what they were running and I watched it all anyways, and somebody had this nice little tidbit, like a 30-second part in there that I didn't know, and I learned something new. I'm still learning stuff new as I'm posting stuff on YouTube. You know, like, that's just the way it is. Like, nobody in this game knows everything. You know, sometimes we forget, sometimes we mess something up. Like, it happens. And all of a sudden you remember something, or you relearn something, and then it opens up your eyes to a new set or a new build combination, and now you're a better player and you have a better build because of it. So all that stuff happens. You know, that's why, you know, I don't take I don't take criticism like terribly, because I know that I don't know everything. You know, I know that if somebody has good information and they can prove me wrong, I'm gonna be like, well, thank you. Thank you for giving me this information, because I've been wrong this whole time. Now you've given me information. I'm now a better player because of it. So that's kind of what I want to get out of my YouTube channel. You know, it's for me. Like, I get information out of it, and I try and, you know, help you guys, and, you know, hopefully I can post fun clips or funny clips or whatever, and you know, just make YouTube fun, not make YouTube cancerous and toxic, I guess. So that's going to be the point of this video. I did post it. I do have these patch notes up. They didn't really change a whole lot for PvP. In the interest of full information disclosure, guys, we're going to read through these patch notes that they posted this week. They reduced Destro ulti range from 10 meters to 8 meters, which is pretty awesome. I think with no AoE caps, I think that's a very good change. You know, as it stands, Destro ult is going to be an AoE gaining, it already is, but it's going to be way better with no AoE caps. This is going to be an AP monster, and so reducing this to allow other things to be a little bit closer is better. They also did a bunch of minor issues, mostly where it respects to Earthcore, and then they also nerfed Earthcore. So this item set's proc now only dispels one enemy area of affectability in its radius instead of all of them. So Earthcore is one of the strongest monster sets in the game. It's, as I said before, it's basically an ultimate. This needed to be toned down. I don't know if this is enough. This is a very good change, but I wouldn't mind seeing the healing reduced on Earthcore just a little bit, because it's basically, when this goes off, you don't die. You don't die until it goes away, and so you can coincide this as a Templar with like a healing ulti. So this goes off, you don't die, and then 10 seconds later you pop your healing ulti, then you don't die, and you stay alive a little bit longer, and then this goes off again and you don't die, and it's, I don't know, it's just a little much. But maybe the new monster sets will help even this out a little bit. I guess we'll have to see. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, please provide them in the section below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.